Hey guys, so today we're going to be taking this UI here that we have and we're going to be using Cursor to further improve upon it. So in the last video, we ended up with this. It was a huge improvement from where we were before, but there's still a lot of issues here and I still want to make a lot of further changes. We have this entries here and we have this date range picker, and I'm thinking we should move that up top. And then that is going to affect the stats here, right? So maybe the user would want to see the financial overview in the last month, right? Or the last year. And same with the chart. In the chart, they're probably going to want to filter what they can see. So I'll show you the end result right now so you can see from where we're starting to where we're going to go in this video. So here's the end result. So we have this completely redesigned page. We have the project information up here, the type of project, the client, if it's hourly billing is enabled, retainers, and then the project stats. And then again, our chart and the date range up here where we can change. So if we want to see only the last 90 days, we can do that. Move the date range right out here into there. So I did this in about an hour and a half. I use Cursor with Claude 3.7. Honestly, it could have taken a lot less time, but we went through a lot of issues with Claude today, and I cut some of those out. It would just randomly start not really listening to what I was trying to get it to do. Like I'm like, use this component, and then it would copy the code from the component instead of reusing the component. So then I had to restart after 30 minutes. I said, okay, let's just throw everything away, re-go at it, give it a better prompt this time. And then, yeah, again, we went down the same path. It started copying the component's code, and then it almost looked perfect. And you'll see that, not almost perfect, but it looked similar, but it was still not the same as what I wanted. Anyways, then we restarted again. Well, not restarted, but give it more clear instructions. I said, use this specific component, and then things got a bit better. And then we worked through other design issues and got to this final product. I think it looks pretty good. There's still some further changes we can do. All in all, had we not ran into issues, it probably would have taken 20 to 30 minutes. And I also finally upgraded and enabled usage pricing. So now it's costing me to do this. I'll show you guys how much I've actually incurred today. I actually don't know, but I mainly used it for this project. Today we accumulated 56 cents of charges for around an hour and a half of work. That's pretty reasonable, I would say. And honestly, we could have consumed less had I been more clear probably with the prompts, given them more help, like where files are. Maybe I'm going to start using that and usage-based pricing, because maybe that will make it more cost effective. We'll see in the future if that's the case. So let's dive into it. All right, guys. So here we have the original UI that we're going to be transforming today using Cursor, as I mentioned earlier, to get the end result that I showcased. All right, so write our prompt. So yeah, we want to make some changes first. Just saying, yeah, I want to show the entries first, starting with some small changes. The first time around, I tried to do way too much, and honestly, I think it got confused and went down the wrong path. So just starting now saying, I want to move tabs at the bottom. I want the entries to be the default ones that we show when the user comes into the project detail page. All right, and here I'm just asking now to remove the task chart. I don't actually want that anymore. It's going to go off and do that. And I'm speeding things up here because, yeah, Cursor just takes quite a while. So getting an error now, it seems, but now the entries are loading as the default and the chart has been removed. So that's great. And now I'm saying I want to use the top stats widget component that we're using somewhere else. So I'm trying to not tell it what component exactly, but I'm saying we have the stats component. So go and try to find that and use that. So yeah, here I'm diving in, I'm telling it what I want to do now, the big changes. So I want to use the top stats widget component that we're using instead of how we're showing the stats now on the project page. I also want to move the date range picker out of the time entry project page and at the top. So it's going to go off and try to make those changes for me. Again, speeding this up because it took quite a while. But yeah, this is where I went wrong on the first pass. It started copying the component, copying the code from the component and not reusing the component. And that's not what I wanted. So yeah, we'll see in a sec that we ended up with something that looks close to what we wanted, but not quite. And then it would have been fine. And yeah, here I made a mistake. It's using get project stats, which was an old endpoint. So I'm saying we need to use the new endpoint, and I didn't specify the new endpoint. So again, putting it on Claude and Cursor to figure out what I mean. And I was able to do that. I was able to figure out the new endpoint is in tenant dashboard, service proxy to get all the top widget stats. And now, yeah, it's updating it. So most of this is sped up at like 4 or 6 times, and I've cut stuff out because yeah, it just takes so long. And yeah, managed to figure that out. Okay. And yeah, you can see here that the UI is botched. That's not what we wanted. It looks close to our stats widget, but yeah, it's just not exactly it. Date range picker does seem to be working, and yeah, not really happy with the UI, like things are not placed well, but hey, it's a better start than the first pass I did. I just had to throw away that 30 minutes of work that I did. Okay, and yeah, I can see there's an error. So this time entries is not loading correctly on the first load, so that's a bug I'll fix later. Yeah, so here I'm saying the stats are not loading properly, so trying to indicate there's an issue. And here I'm just thinking, okay, should I give it the name of the component? So yeah, this is the component I'm trying to bring over. Yeah, it's at this point I realized that we actually have a component that combines the stats and the chart. So I'm like, oh, I should probably use this component, the report stats chart, and add it here. So that's exactly what I do. I tell it to do that. AI is not able to figure out what is like the best way to do something. Like if you don't specify, right, it will literally maybe just copy the code instead of reusing it. That can be a real downside if you just rely on AI for writing your code, because it's going to be a mess, right? You're just going to have duplicated code, no components for reusability. So it can be quite bad. So yeah, here where I'm saying now the stats are not loading properly, and actually can you use the report stats chart? This has the stats widget and the chart combined, right? And I'm telling it don't duplicate the code. You get like passive aggressive sometimes with it. I don't know, I was looking at my video, I'm just like putting dot at it at one point. It's funny, I don't know, just talking to a human. And yeah, here it's going off, generating now. This is crazy, like a new way of programming really, right? Like I'm literally just writing English and commanding it, and it's doing my bidding, right? And this does save so much time. Like I don't have to go find things, copy things, and I'm getting better with the prompt. I think I should be more specific with the prompt. When I don't, I just make it do a lot more work, and there's a lot more potential for it to make mistakes. Going forward, I'm going to try to giving it more direction. So yeah, here we have it, and it looks a lot better now. It used the correct component, it seems, but I'm not happy with the UI. So I'm going to take a screenshot and try to work with it now. I tell it, yeah, this is good, but I find the placement of things, like the date range is just off. Like the date range was just on its own, and then on the left there was like empty space. It just doesn't look great, right? Too much empty space. And again, this does something really stupid here. You'll see in a sec, but it literally adds 2 date pickers now, and one is just doesn't look like it belongs there. Yeah, just messed up again. Yeah, so you can see there, added a second date picker, and for some reason it's oddly styled, has a background around it that's gray. Yeah, telling it looks worse. Now there's 2 date pickers, so yeah, it's gonna just go remove that now. So it's gonna remove it, but it literally just reverts. At this point, yeah, I just went and looked in Cursor. I want to see how much I was burning. At this point, it was already at 24 cents. So interesting. But I guess it makes sense, right? Like 24 cents, or at this point, an hour of work. A developer is paid 40 to 100 an hour. If you're saving productivity of the developer, it could be worth it. So yeah, got rid of that, but literally just we went back to what we had before. So we didn't make any improvements. So now I have to tell it again, okay, but now we're back in the same design as before. The date range picker is all on its own, and there's a bunch of left empty space on the left. And then it says, yeah, you're absolutely right. Goes off with some potential improvements. And yeah, here it's struggling. So it put the project name there, but we already had it in 3 spots. I wouldn't say this is much better. So at this point, I take a screenshot of the actual component. So you can do that in Chrome. I don't know, but you just go in the DOM inspector and you right click and click capture node screenshot. And then yeah, I'm gonna give this to Claude. Yeah, I say that's better, but now we show the project name 3 times and the placement of stuff is still off in my opinion. Yeah, and certain sections are missing titles. So I've attached a screenshot showing you. And this is where it gets confused. It thinks that the screenshot I gave it is what I want. Like, I guess it thinks it's mocks or something. So I come to that realization, and I'm like, wait, no, the screenshot is actually the implemented you, and it makes the same mistake again because I gave it another screenshot, so you'll see. Yeah, and then it's going off to fix it. All right, that one took quite a while to finish. Yeah, we can see here made some improvements. Still not good. I have to give it more guidance. Struggling today. In last video, I was more impressed with how quickly and the improvements I made. This error starts annoying me, so I'm gonna go fix it very quickly. Of course, using the AI, I just give it the error and it's able to fix it quite quickly. But again, it goes off here on a weird side quest. Like it does the fix, but you can see here in a second that it starts running a command and saying, I need to find this other issue in some other components. And then I just said, okay, stop there. I don't know what you're doing. So again, just weird behavior. And now I'm giving it more explicit instructions. Can you combine the project overview and the project settings? They should be at the top. It doesn't make sense that we have one below the chart and one above, and those sections should be combined. Their project settings. It does that, but I find now the UI is like inconsistent. Like these sections or these different components don't, look consistent with each other. So again, I give it a screenshot and I say that's better, but I still find that the project overview or information lacks a bit of consistency. And then I'm giving it a screenshot so it can know what that looks like. And this, it does a pretty good job here. I'm pretty impressed with the end result. And here we have it. So honestly, I really like this a lot better. It looks a lot more consistent now. But yeah, I just want to add some titles now for each section. So I'm just going to have it do that. So yeah, again, just crazy that, we're using English to make all these changes, not having to write any code. And I'm just going to add it now, have it add some spacing for me. So added some spacing. And that's the thing that I'm not liking. What I'm seeing is like how it's just slapping in CSS and not really using utility classes that I have. So I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Some of the downsides of this approach to programming, right? That is going to result from doing this type of programming. All right, added some padding. So this page looks, in my opinion, a lot better. And here I just test it out a bit, make sure everything's working. So I load a new project. There's no error this time. That error's fixed. I don't have a lot of data on these projects, so it's not probably the best testing. But last 12 months, you can see the stats change. Pretty content with this. All right, guys, so thanks for watching. That was another programming session using AI that I wanted to share. And I just want to share how I feel about this new way of programming. It's pretty fun. Vibe coding, right? This is what they call it, where you just have the AI generate all your changes and you just accept them. Don't really review it that thoroughly. But I see, a major downside is that if you're not reviewing the changes, then you're probably allowing a lot of technical debt. Like I could see some of the changes it was making and to, do what I needed it to do or wanted it to do. And it's just like putting CSS everywhere rather than using my utility classes. Or when I did catch it, it's like just copying code instead of reusing components that it should be doing. If you vibe code, your code base is just going to become a mess, right? It's going to be very difficult to work with when you actually do need to develop and not actually use an AI. And it's definitely making, I think, us a bit lazier as programmers because it's just literally writing the code. It's finding the files for us. It's doing a lot. So there's some downsides. And I think I'm going to make future videos talking more about those. But no doubt it's a big productivity boost, and using it for UI redesigns or improvements, I think is a really good use case for a lot of developers who struggle with UI. And I could even see this being complemented with the designer. As you see, I'm giving it screenshots of the current flawed implementation, but you can give it screenshots of the desired designs. So the mocks, you take them from Figma, export them, and then you feed that into the AI and see if it's going to be able to make those changes. I think that's something I'll try in the future, seeing, okay, can it take these designs and implement them? How close to pixel perfect can we get? But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. These videos are a lot of fun to do, but my God, they take a lot of effort. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.